For all your mobile bartending needs, both public and private, reach out to Drinks Galore. They provide a wide range of package deals available on their website, drinksgalore.com. Book Drinks Galore. Cheers and enjoy. Yes, what's good, everybody? Robin E here, back in the building. We back on another episode of Pillow Talk Podcast. Happy Easter to y'all. I know y'all over there eating good with your families and everything like that. I'm gonna get my plate after I leave. Don't even trip, okay? Don't think that I was deprived of the family food today, because I was not. All right, so shout out to everybody. I hope you are enjoying your Easter. Do not eat all of those kids' candy, because it's not for you, okay? It's not for you. So on this Easter Sunday, I'm so excited to have a special guest on Pillow Talk Podcast. She has an amazing cannabis blog, okay? I, too, am an advocate. So I'm super excited that she wants to come on the show and chop it up with me about her blog and just everything that she's doing. So we have Miss Yesenia on Pillow Talk Podcast, the owner and creator of Mex in the City, Chicago.
Hi, hello, what's up? Thank you for having me.
Yes. So excited to have you on. Thank you for coming on Pillow Talk, and happy Easter again to you.
Likewise, happy Easter. It's Easter Sunday.
Okay, yes. You was over there with the family, so I know y'all had a good time.
Definitely.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be on.
Of course. I love it. I love what you stand for, everything that you got going on. So we got to get into it. Now, you are in Chicago. I got to know, what side of Chicago are you from?
So I mention this a lot because I'm a child of Chicago, but at the same time, I've lived all over the city. I moved around a lot when I was a little girl. Up until my adulthood, when I moved out, I moved around a lot. So genuinely, I'm from all of Chicago. I'm from every single side of Chicago. I rep every single side. I was born in Little Village. That's where I basically was raised as a child. But this entire city, I love it. Chicago as a whole, that's my city. I love it.
Absolutely, yes. Shout out to Chicago. Definitely love me Chicago as well. Love it. What's your favorite thing about the city?
The food. I always talk about the food. Everybody who knows me, I love the food. We got the best food in the country. So yeah, over everything. I know people are shy about the people. I love the people and I love the food. I love my city. So those are really the two things that I love.
Yes, absolutely. Because we love the food, y'all. Chicago got it. They got it.
Absolutely. I know. And then especially because, I write about cannabis, and we all know when you smoke, sometimes you get munchies, and being able to have the amount of options that we have a mass amount of options to choose from. So can't beat that.
Absolutely. Can't beat that. I love it too. That's one of the reasons why I can't leave the Chicago area. Not just yet.
Tell me about it.
We got to get into your blog. So first off, tell us about it, kind of how you got started, and how long you've been doing it.
Sure. So Mex in the City, Chicago is basically my personal blog. I've had it now for just about 2 years. I started it off as basically just my personal place where I talked about my life, about my what I was going through relationship wise. I was going through a bad breakup. So I basically just wanted to create a space where I could, just create stuff. And I've always loved writing. So I wanted to really put my life out there like that. And once I started putting my life out there, right around the time that I started my blog, weed had just become legal. So one of the type of stuff that I documented was my first dispensary trip. I talked about the weed that I was trying, stuff like that. And I noticed that people really wanted to hear about that. And when I would look on YouTube and I would look on Instagram and I would try to find other people who talked about weed, it was a lot of guys. It's a lot of guys who talk about weed. And there's a lot of pages of girls who talk about weed as well, and I felt like there was nobody like putting a focus on just women as cannabis users, like just regular cannabis consumers, you know. So I literally changed my blog from being about my life to being about my a part of my life, which is weed. And I haven't looked back ever since. I've literally reviewed edibles. I've tried different types of weed. I've started, just looking into like legislation. I'm very passionate about, cannabis, and how it became legal, and how, how we can use that to create generational wealth within our communities. These are things that I'm very passionate about, having to do with weed. And that's literally what my focus has been ever since.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. I love it. It's the women are weed smokers for me. Okay. We are consumers. Absolutely. I love that. I think that's so dope.
Thank
And the
you.
fact
Thank
that you went to check and like look it up and saw that it was mostly men, like, right. He's like, what? Like,
you. Yeah. Absolutely. Not only are the people who are, on social media talking about weed isn't mainly men, but also the people who are actually writing the laws, and the people who are actually like representing these major corporations. We it's men. It's men who are running like cannabis and stuff like that. And so I just don't agree with that. And I felt like, I don't have an aspiration to, let's say, own a cannabis brand, but I have a passion to bring that information to people like me, who are from like the city, who like to smoke weed and really just buy weed from the guy on the block, and roll
okay.
blunts, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, that's still money. You're still putting money into an economy. You know what I mean? And that economy
Exactly.
is drug dealing. And it's cannabis. And at the end of the day, it's all the same industry. So it's really important, like,
Absolutely.
it put that into words and put it so that people understand what's happening at a legal level, and what's happening at like a state level, and how that impacts what's happening, in your hood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's amazing. A lot of people don't think about it, in that way. And you're right.
Hmm.
Like I should be able to still contribute to the economy the way I've always been. Just because
Hmm.
y'all want the dollars now, you feel like you
Hmm.
need to go ahead and tax us for whatever, whatever. Like that's real. People don't
Hmm.
think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a fucking plant. The way that this plant could be grown, we could be paying $20 for AIDS. We could be, having like just
Mhm.
better prices, not the crazy taxes that we're seeing now, that we're just being taken advantage of because it's a newly legal market. You know what I mean? And there's such
Mhm.
a gray area when it comes to what's allowed and what's not allowed, and what's still legal, because technically it's legal to use it on a recreational basis, but there's so many stipulations to that will immediately make it illegal again. So
Mm.
it's crazy the way that everybody who smokes weed, anybody who smokes weed, this is important because you're smoking weed. You know what I mean? Like, you should
Right.
care about this type of stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I try to
Absolutely.
talk about these topics in a way that we can all relate to, because big corporations, they use these big words, and they use these crazy like, the way that they write stuff is dissuades you from wanting to take in the information. So I feel like
Mhm.
if I do that and bring it out to people in a way that they can understand better, and in a way that's easier to follow along to, then maybe they will care about it more, and maybe there could be a change. You know what I mean?
Yes. Okay, because y'all, can we get some
Yeah.
hearts? Can we get some love though
Thank
for Yesenia? Because she is
you.
dropping big knowledge. Okay. We got a real weed advocate up in the building. And I love it because I love weed. We gotta take it back real quick, y'all. We
Hmm.
gotta take it back now. Now I
Hmm.
don't know obviously the whole history with you and marijuana, and weed, but I gotta know, like, what was your first experience like with weed?
So honestly, I say that I've been smoking weed basically my entire life, because the first time I ever smoked weed, I was about 13 years old, and it was with my group of friends. But I didn't really like continue or keep smoking weed until I was like 18. And then when I turned 18, then I had graduated high school, and I was basically working on my own, and I was able to afford to smoke basically every single day. And that's what it's been ever since. Like, I don't believe in like tolerance breaks for myself. I've never actually like needed it or wanted it or desired it. I literally smoke every fucking day. You know what I mean? I'm a stoner. I'm a productive stoner. And I don't like to. I don't. It's not something that I feel ashamed of or anything like that. that's just who I am. And when I originally smoked weed, the first time that I smoked weed when I was 13, I don't even remember getting high. Like
Facts.
it was
Facts.
just a silly situation with my friends, and it was like new. It wasn't until I was older that I actually started getting high and then enjoying that high.
Right.
Mm.
Facts. Absolutely. And right, me too. The first time I smoked weed, like I was like, I don't understand. Like I was not doing that shit right. I didn't
Yeah.
understand what I was doing.
Nah.
But right, when I hit it again, once I inhaled when I actually got it, I was like, okay, yeah, absolutely. Like,
Yeah,
how do
the
you
first
feel?
time.
How do you feel about when people say like weed is a gateway drug?
So I feel like when we talk about gateway drugs, people just don't understand that a lot of this propaganda that's been said about weed was propaganda, and it was created by people to dissuade the use of cannabis. So that's why these type of phrases exist. That it couldn't really be anything. I mean, cocaine could be a gateway drug. You know what I mean? Some people, in some places, people don't start with weed. People start with cocaine. You know what I mean? So that's just
Facts.
it. Gateway drugs. It could be anything. What I usually say, what people don't realize is that weed is a gateway drug to drug dealers, because as a consumer like me, I've smoked weed my entire life, but I've never, you know, maybe I've tried coke, but I've never was interested in coke. I was always just weed. You know what I mean? Even drinking. I'm not a drinker. I don't really like to drink. I mainly smoke. And I know a lot of people like that. If you know stoners, you know a lot of people who don't like to drink. They just like to smoke. So there's actually people who like, let's say like a drug dealer who actually sells weed. People will start selling weed, and then they'll start selling coke, and then they'll start selling like harder drugs. It's not that they use these drugs, but they start selling weed, and then they start selling coke, and they start selling the harder drugs. So it's not a gateway drug in its usage. It's a gateway drug for drug dealers who start getting into selling weed and start selling like huge amounts of weed. It's just like type of chain. But do I believe it's a gateway drug? No, I don't. I think it's really just dependent on the person and how they use it. You know what I mean? If a person's susceptible to try stuff, if a person's like a party person and they're gonna be willing to try things, they're gonna be willing to try things, you know? That's pretty much just about anybody.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that wholeheartedly. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I definitely agree with that. I hate that whole stigma behind it, and I definitely think it does depend on the person. You said right, productive, pothead in a sense. I totally agree. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was smoking all through college. I graduated, like did everything I
Mm-hmm.
was supposed to do while I was smoking weed. So I
Mm-hmm.
feel that.
Yeah, and it's not even, it's different when people you who use it but still have a negative attachment to it. It's those people, or people who have a negative opinion on it. Those people struggle to understand somebody like you and me, who we're productive. We'll smoke, and we can still continue on with our day, because the way that weed works, for us it's okay. For us, we can smoke and still be productive, but for some people it won't. For some people, they will
Right.
smoke the same amount of weed and it'll give them anxiety. So they're like looking at us like, how can you do that? You know what I mean? Like, you're
Right.
smoking too much. It's just everybody's different. The way that they use it is different. Their dosing level is different. And me, I can smoke all day and I'll be fine, and I'll still be able to do everything that I have to do and get it done. but
Exactly.
but some people do that.
Right. Some people it's over with. No, I agree wholeheartedly 100% with that. And now that it's becoming, well, now that it is legal, here, a lot more people are trying to, show different ways that it is productive and kind of show how normal it is, the health benefits and stuff. So it's like, y'all got to let the bad stigma go at this point. Cause
Mm-hmm.
why? There is none. Like,
There isn't. It was created for the specific purpose of dissuading us from using it, and for that's literally what it did. It did what it was supposed to do, which for years it was okay to look at it in a negative way, but now that it's legal, we're trying to take away, decades worth of bad bad, stigmas on cannabis.
absolutely. And
Mm-hmm.
you definitely are bringing, more awareness to that, again, with this amazing blog, you guys. So you posted like some health tips as well on there, and just some things that you can kind of do with, marijuana. So can you just tell us a little bit about like I think it was a tip that you had that your mother posted about the rubbing alcohol, or that she taught you, like, can
Mm-hmm.
you just kind of give us a little rundown on that? Because that was really
Sure.
interesting.
Sure. So for a lot of people, their first experience with cannabis was, let's say, as a teenager or as a preteen. That was their first experience. first experience with weed. My first experience was with weed was actually as a child. Growing up, my mom always kept in our medicine cabinet. She kept a just a container of rubbing alcohol, and it had weed in it. And basically, we just used it for our whenever we were hurt, whenever our muscles hurt, we had a bruise, just a variety of different things. It was just we just used it like we didn't know at the time because I was too little to understand that it was weed and what was weed and this all of that information. I just knew that it was medicine. So as I got older and I started seeing that other people didn't do that or that didn't have that, and it was just so weird to me. And as I got older and older, then I started understanding, oh, it's weed and it's illegal, and this is something that I had in my house, you know what I mean? But weed is a medicine, and my mom she is very much anti like smoking, and she supports me and she supports my blog, but she still does not fully agree to like people who smoke every day and stuff like that. She has very strong opinions on those type of things, but she was the first person who introduced me to cannabis as a medicine, you know what I mean? And we always talk about that. It's literally what it is. It was a medicine, and you know what it does because you used it in yourself. We use it.
Yeah.
And basically what it is, it's literally just, again, it's rubbing alcohol and you put weed in it. You could put like, I think the best ratio, I mean, generally we just had a bunch of weed in it, so it was just a bunch of but so it was like really almost black from how much weed it was. But you can do like a 1-to-4 ratio, 1 of weed and 4 of alcohol. And that's basically, you can apply it to anywhere. You can apply it to your sore muscles. It goes directly onto your skin. It literally goes directly applied to your skin and it dries out. I know that other cultures do this as well. And just learning as I've gotten older that it was like a cultural thing. But it works. I mean, we all know that weed is a medicine, and it's kind of just one of those things that you can make at home. This isn't something that you have to buy. You just have to buy the weed. And then you can just put it all, and then that's basically it. You know what I mean? You don't have to go out. You don't really have to do it. You could make this at home for yourself.
Yes, I love that. I think that's super dope, and I did not know that. And I was like, "Oh my god, that makes perfect sense." Like,
Yeah.
my mom, and dad, y'all was slacking. Like,
Yeah.
y'all was slacking.
No, it's genuinely, I think it's more like a cultural thing because I believe this is more
Yeah.
in regions where cannabis is like more commonly consumed or just regularly consumed than in other areas.
Yeah.
And that's just how, as far as I know.
I love that. I think that's dope. You
Yeah.
guys, like, that's super dope. I know some of y'all did not know that. So definitely make sure you check out the blog for other tips that she has too about that. And then you also visit, like dispensaries in different places as well in Chicago, pertaining to like cannabis. So like, what were some of the places that you visited so far, like that you wrote up about?
So when legalization first happened, I was very excited about trying dispensaries. So I tried really the ones that were in my immediate area. And I just basically checked those out and, tried some of the weed from those places. As the time has progressed and I have gotten more into like the news of cannabis and actually what's going on with the laws and people who are working to reform these cannabis laws and just all of these things that are currently going on in that industry. I actually don't shop at dispensaries anymore. I don't support dispensaries anymore. I don't support, those cannabis brands that are sold at dispensaries. I don't believe in supporting an industry that doesn't support people who look like me. So I refuse to continue to shop at dispensaries. Everybody has their personal choice because obviously weed is legal. And again, there's a bunch of different stipulations. But no, I stopped visiting dispensaries. I visited some of the local ones in my area, but and I actually write about news about these dispensaries and who's buying them and how the businesses are going and how all these things are going on under, behind the scenes that we don't even know about. That's really what I like to touch on in my blog. I visit smoke shops. I do like to, I like to support businesses that are minority owned. So I try to visit as many and try to support them and write about those businesses that are legally operating and that are basically allowed to do what they do. But dispensaries, I don't actually no longer visit dispensaries. I'm not going to mention them either because
yeah. Absolutely. No, I
Mhm.
absolutely understand that. And I commend you, for speaking on that and saying that you don't support it, especially when you don't have people that look like you running it or contributing to it.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I mean, I respect that
Mhm.
wholeheartedly. That's,
Yeah,
yeah, that's dope.
absolutely. There, as we know, as everybody knows, I mean, we all know, especially from like me, I consider myself to be from all over Chicago, and I've met all type of people, and weed is something that's associated and has always been associated in a negative way, and is now being repackaged and sold in a different packaging to appeal to different people, and that's really, as you know, different as how the market has gotten, because
Mhm.
despite the fact that there are so many black and brown men incarcerated because of cannabis, there are
Right.
absolutely zero black and brown men legally selling cannabis. And
Mhm.
that's the real problem in the cannabis industry. The people are owed so much, and that's why I prefer not to support that type of business, basically.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, I mean, with that problem that's like going on as well with the cannabis industry, do
Mhm.
you see realistically any way that more black and brown people can become more dominant within the industry?
I think it's all about education. I believe that people care, but I believe that there are not enough resources accessible to people so that they will understand what's really going on. Because if people really knew what was happening in the industry, we're living through like a great American scandal. You know what I mean? And it's happening right in our own state. You know what I mean? And we don't really know about it because it comes written up in these laws and like the bulletins that get posted and things like that, and nobody wants to read these 7 page papers. Nobody has nobody wants to read them, you know what I mean? So that's why the news just keeps happening, these laws just keep passing, and nobody really knows, because it's not provide the information isn't provided to us in a way that we can understand, in a way that will actually speak to us. So that's really what I focus on my blog. Like it's important that we take this information and let as many people know. The only way that things can change is if more and more and more people know. And it's all about communicating, because at the end of the day we all do smoke weed, and like I said, we all do want $20 eights, and we all do want like the best weed and stuff like that. So the more
Mhm.
people who want these things, the more people who know, then the more people who want to write to state representatives, show up to these press conferences, speak up on behalf of these businesses and who's doing what, and who's mishandling and who's just lying about what they're doing, and things that are actually happening right now in our state. We're being lied to, we're being sold shitty weed,
Mhm.
we're being like all of these horrible things that we're actually living
Oh,
through.
it's
It's
sad,
important.
y'all. It's so sad.
You know what I mean? It's very important. And at the end of the day, if you didn't know about it, if somebody didn't tell it to you in a way that was interesting to you, or in a way that you were like, oh, you know what, hell yeah, that's actual bullshit. If you don't get that information from somebody who makes you feel that, then you're not going to feel it. And that's the problem
Absolutely.
that we're facing now, that we just don't have as many people who know about it.
That is absolutely correct. People don't want to read. They don't want to inform themselves. As soon as
Mhm.
they see a certain amount of right of pages or whatever, they're like, "Nah, never mind, forget it." And that's a big problem. Like we have to educate ourselves, especially when the information is right there. Like
Absolutely.
that's right on the head. I'm so glad you said that.
And for me, my blog, like I've always said, my blog, I make no money from my blog. My blog is 100% free to read. I actually host Chicago's first 420 friendly open mic, where we
Mm,
showcase singers, rappers, poets, comedians. We welcome them out to just have a great ass time with us and share their artwork. Everything that I do and everything that I put out into the community is free, funded by the people who join with me as a team, and get these things done. And it's really all about community, because the way that weed is being portrayed now, it's being portrayed in a way that it was never portrayed before. And the people who are cannabis consumers for a long time, they're not relating to what's being put out right now. You know what I mean? We
mhm,
don't have like legal consumption lounges in the city where we can go and smoke and
mm.
chill, and like we don't have none of that.
Right.
It's legal, but only because they told us it's legal, because
Amen.
of all that we have. So that's really what my blog and what I stand for. I just want us to be able to enjoy weed, and for all of us to just be able to make our money. The same people who are, made a life from weed. We know plenty of people who was selling drugs, and then we know that they came up, and they're come up. Those people deserve to come up, and that's what
Yeah.
I believe. So that's really what I try to write about and what I try to relate to people on.
Yes, I love. Okay, you speaking out. You preaching on
Thank you.
this Sunday today. Okay, you preaching.
Thank
You
you.
dropping gems on this
Thank
Sunday today. Like absolutely, I love it though because it is
you.
it is about communities for the people. You said you were having an event on 420.
So not on 420. It's actually going to be on 427.
Okay.
So 427, my next open mic. I actually host them twice a month. Twice a month, it's 100% free. I posted on my Instagram page. Basically, we take rappers, singers. You just have to sign up for your spot on the mic, and you have some time to just show us what you can do. And you can come out and have a vibe. We have drinks, food. We have just a whole vibe for the people. Yeah, definitely. And it's always in the city, so we rotate around, but it's always in the city.
Yes, that's dope. I think
Yeah,
that's super, super dope. I definitely want to make sure I share information on that.
thank
Love
you.
420 friendly events for sure. But that's dope. So do you like doing performances for artists as well? Like showcases for artists?
Yeah, so I mean, my blog is very informative. It's educational, and I'm very passionate about talking about weed and its laws. But at the end of the day, writing is an art, and I do consider my writing to be an art. And I also like to write poetry. I also like to listen to poetry. I like to listen to rappers,
Yes.
and honestly, like when there's no better feeling than watching somebody perform what they love. You know what I mean? And honestly, like the people that come out and perform at my open mic, it's always a vibe. It's always such a good time that you kind of just feel it in the air, like everybody just kind of is having a good time. Like how can I say it, there's people from all over the city, from the south side, from the west side, from the north side. There's all kinds of different people, and they're all in one room just vibing out to a song that probably has never been played on the radio, just vibing the fuck. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's really what it's about. It's about bringing Chicago people together, and that's what I love to do. Bring Chicago people
Yes.
together.
Okay, yes. You gotta do it. You gotta do that. I love that. That's super dope. Definitely a
Mhm.
vibe. I love that, y'all. I'm
Mhm.
gonna definitely post some details about that as well too.
Thank you. Thank
Now, before you go, I gotta play a little mini game with you real quick, a little trivia, just
you.
a
Okay.
little this or that, because you a cannabis advocate. Obviously, I need to know some of your faves when it comes to that. Some of your particulars. Okay.
Okay.
So we got to start off first. Now, are you a pre-rolls lady? Are you a joint lady? What do you prefer?
Honestly, I smoke everything under the sun, but nothing hits my weed tooth like a nice blunt. I love blunts. I'm gonna smoke blunts till I die. Honestly, people can talk all the shit they want about blunts. I'm gonna roll my swisher and I'm gonna smoke the shit out of it every single
Okay,
time.
look, period. Period. I'ma roll that shit. I heard that. Y'all
Mhm.
better stop playing with her. I know that's right. I love me a
Mhm.
blunt too. Okay.
Absolutely. It's
Okay.
something different about a blunt.
It is. It's something about the aura. I feel you with that. Loved
Yeah.
your answer. Okay, so what about bongs or dabs? Which do you prefer?
I like. Okay, so you said dabs or what?
Dabs or bongs?
Okay, so that's a hard question because when I hit a bong, I'm hitting a bong a couple times. I'll fuck with a bong a couple times. But a dab, I don't know. A dab, I'll hit it once, maybe twice. I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out. I swear to God, I've hit a dab once and it took me out for a week. So I didn't want to hit another dab for a couple, like a whole. I'm okay. So dabs are just the. I think dabs depend.
Oh.
It depends on the dab, you know.
It depends on it. No, I feel you
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
I cannot do dabs no more. My lungs are like, I'm just not about that life. I hit a bong, but yeah, them dabs, they'll take you out.
Out.
All up
Absolutely.
in your chest. All up in your chest. Facts.
Yes.
Okay, so when you get high, do you prefer to cook or do you like to eat out?
So you know what's funny is that I when I smoke, I actually don't get the munchies. I'm real controversial. I know a lot of people get munchies. When I get high, I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. I want something really good to drink. So usually I'll have like I'm a fan of juices, like natural juices. I'm a fan of like just coffees, like just different, a variety of drinks. I like
Yes.
sodas, like foreign sodas. I'm a fanatic of different drinks, but I don't really get the munchies. So I
Okay.
whenever I do smoke, it's usually whatever whatever I want to drink. But you know what? I also smoke all fucking day, so I don't know. You know what I mean? I'd be cooking a whole fucking lot if I'm cooking every time I smoke.
Oh, I'm dead. I am dead. No, it's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with that. So, I mean, you smoke all day. Like, do you prefer to wake and bake over smoking at night, like before bed, or
I
do
don't
you
have a
just
preference.
don't have a
I'm
preference?
one of those people who I smoke like whenever I feel it. Because sometimes I want to smoke at 7 a.m. Sometimes I won't want to smoke till 4 p.m. But it just depends on how I feel. Like it depends on my day, what's going on in my day. I look at weed as kind of like I know when my body needs it. I know when I'm like when I'm ready for it, and then that's basically it.
Thanks. Thanks. Okay, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, on the blog, you mentioned, some sex tips and tricks, when it comes to cannabis. So, I gotta get your insight as well. What's the best type of smoke to have, before intimacy?
Okay, so with weed, it really is dependent on the person. Every person is different when it comes to like different strains and stuff. There are a few of them that are known to be for sex, but what I really say is just try out different ones and see what works for you. My biggest thing is that I always say, especially for women, like you want something that's gonna you want to not something that's gonna like couch lock you. You don't want something that's that severe. Or maybe
Okay.
you do, depending on your pain level. You know what I mean? Depending on if you experience pain and stuff like that, then maybe you do. But usually I'm a fan of sativas. I usually do hybrids. That's usually what I like. Um, I can't say as, you know, for myself if I have a specific one that I use to get in the mood, you know what I mean? Because usually like I just whatever I have, but I know there's some like wedding cake, there's like granddaddy perp. These are strains that are known for stimulating your libido. Weed
Yes.
itself is not, yeah, it's not an aphrodisiac, so weed in itself is not gonna make you like horny per se, you know what I mean? But using it can make your sex better, you know what I mean? Especially
Yes.
if you're a woman, and I tell every woman that I encounter, if you're not using weed in some way in your medicine closet or in your self-care routine, then you should be, because weed not only helps with pain, but it also helps with just your anxiety levels. It helps with the way that you're experiencing food. And I suffer from acid reflux. If sometimes I have nausea, if I smoke, my nausea goes away. Weed in itself is healing in a variety of different ways. So if you just try it out and see what goes good for you, what you like, could it be smoke, could it be edibles, could be this strain, could be something that's different. Some people swear by indica, some people swear by sativas. Me, I usually just like sativas because my favorite strain is a sativa, but I really
Mhm.
don't have a preference. I'm smoking everything, you know what I mean? Like I don't care. Like I'm not picky when it comes to weed. If
We
it looks
smoking
good,
it
if it
all.
smells good, yeah, if it looks good and it smells good, I'm smoking it. You know what I mean?
Light that
But
light
I
that
know
up.
hmm But I know some people swear by certain strains. It's all about trying. Try as much as you can. You can start small. Try with the bowl. Try something small, but just see what different levels of consumption make you feel like. And once you find that like good spot, then it's gonna be enjoyable every single time.
Facts.
Hmm
Absolutely, y'all. Okay,
Yeah,
because you heard it. You gotta do it in it's a magical thing, okay? It's magical. It's magical
absolutely.
as
And
hell.
especially for women, men, for men, it's a different story. But for women, absolutely, ladies, you should definitely be having weed in some sort of form in your medicine closet and in your self care routine.
Work that in. I love it. I'm an
Mhm.
advocate,
Yeah,
100%. Motherfuckers
absolutely.
know. They know not to play around with me sometimes until I done, got under the influence a little bit. And
Period.
then I'm ready to cooperate.
Exactly. Just make sure you have some water on
you
hand. Make
know.
sure you got some fucking chapstick. You know what I mean? Oh,
Okay. Okay, that cotton mouth. Do
period.
you so you don't have a favorite strand then? That's like one strand that you just always like to smoke.
So my favorite strand is always clementine. I like
Nice.
citrus based strains. I like these strains because some, because I smoke all day. I don't really like strains that are very heavy or very like a heavy head
Mm,
high. I really like weeds weed that'll still make me feel like productive and it'll still
like
give me a pep
alert.
in. Yeah, exactly. So I, even at night, I smoke like that type of weed. You know what I mean? Because it just puts me in like a good mood. It puts me in like a different mood because I don't really struggle with falling asleep and stuff like that. So I don't need it for sleep. So I really
Facts.
just use
Facts.
it for like the, you know, the head or the body high.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, period. Period. I like citrusy tasting weed too. It tastes good too. Like,
And I talk about these terpenes, and you know, all of this is really new science, so we don't have like a lot of really hard hitting data and
mm,
terpenes and stuff like that. But like you know, all these terpenes like limonene and stuff like that that are found in my favorite strain. I mean, these are all just different parts of like different. You'll find it in different strains. You know what I mean? So there are other citrus based strains that you can also taste that in the same effect.
thanks. I love
Mhm.
it. Okay,
Yeah.
look, you a weedologist.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was talking
Weedologist.
about. I'm not a nurse. You know, I've never worked at a dispensary. I don't do any of that. I've been a cannabis user for 15 years of my life consistently, and really you could say that I've been so for 20 years because like I said, the alcohol and weed mixture I've been using since I was a little kid. So weed has been a part of my entire life. Everything that I speak on is from experience and it's from
Yes.
years of using it, you know? So I'm not a
Yes.
technically I'm not an expert, but just take it from me. Just take it from me.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna take that into account. We are though, definitely gonna take that into account. I think it's dope still that you know everything you know about it and that you're putting it on the blog. Okay, I do have it scrolling across here on the bottom of the screen. So make sure you guys check that out. So what else can we expect, from you and your blog for 2022?
So for 2022, I really want to put more educational information. I want to create information that's relatable. I also want to talk more and show you guys more like events and showing you like what kind of big brands are working, you know, under the scene, like behind the scenes, and you know what brands are doing what. I like to hold these big cannabis brands accountable, so I'm gonna be writing a lot more about a lot of these cannabis brands have claimed to help communities and do stuff like that, and I really just want to get deep in there and find out exactly what these people are doing for our communities, where that money's going to, you know, the type of stuff that's really important to us, and who's hiring. You know, your dispensary. If your dispensary is not majority run by minorities, and you're already at the wrong place, you know what I mean. So just
Right.
different things that we as you know people of color who smoke weed in Illinois, different things that we could do to just you know be more aware of where money's going to. Weed isn't cheap, it's a lot of money, and I think we could be smarter about the way that we're spending it, especially because you know we want to keep smoking weed and we're gonna keep doing it, you know.
Yeah, okay, absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. We gonna absolutely. I love that. Okay, we gonna
thank
keep smoking the weed and we
thank
gonna
you.
keep doing it.
Period. Every
No, I
day.
love that though. I love that, Yesenia. I think that's super dope. I really love everything that you stand for. I love that you want to
Thank
be,
you.
a person of representation because everything you said is correct. And I love the bigger message behind your blog. It's not just about talking about weed, it's about everything that goes into the policies and how it affects a weed smoker. So I,
Hmm.
I love that. I think that's really amazing.
Thank you, yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. I love it. Now, I do have your IG, in the blog scrolling, but I mean, is there anything else you would like for us to know or keep up with you on or anything like that?
Well, like I said, just my open mic. The open mic is in Chicago. It's
Yes.
in the city, so make sure you guys check it out. I will be dropping the flyer. The my open mics, it's always a fucking vibe. Honestly, the list of performers fills really fucking fast. People want to they want to perform for a room full of vibing ass stoners, and literally we
Yeah.
have a great ass time. So you know, if you're a rapper, if you're a singer, if you like to do poetry, if you're a stand-up comedian, sign up for that mic. We would love to have you on. It's going to be on the 27th, which is this Wednesday. It's the latest time on a Wednesday night, and it's in the city. It's at 7 p.m. And if you guys follow my Instagram, you guys check out my website. I'll post the flyer up.
Absolutely, y'all. Y'all know. She done sold it. I'm sold. I'm sold. Okay. If you anybody in the arts, damn it, and you need a stage around some dope ass stoners, this is the woman you need to tap in with, okay, to be a part of the showcase. That's definitely a vibe.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Definitely a vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you for coming on Pillow Talk Podcast. Now, I'm gonna have to pull up on you next time. We're gonna have to roll up or something, maybe do some weed reviews or something like
Oh
that
yeah,
because
love to
you the
have you.
expert. Look, you the expert. You might need to teach me some things.
Well, I would love to try. You know what I mean?
No, I
Whatever I
would love
can,
that.
even if it is just smoking up. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Everybody loves
absolutely.
a sesh.
No, I would love that. Thank you again for coming on here. And again, shout out to your blog. It's super dope. Have it scrolling here on the bottom of the screen. You guys, give it up again for Miss Yesenia, y'all. We got to give it up.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks to everybody that tuned in. You got a lot of hearts. You got a lot of love on the show. Shout out to everybody that shared. Make sure that you guys subscribe to Pillow Talk Podcast, man. Streaming on all major platforms, okay? As always, sending love and light to all of y'all, man. Happy Easter. Peace out.
Happy Easter.
Yes. Definitely a vibe.